So you have
This Rasaushadi Prabodh. From this month, we are going to arrange monthly series on single Rasaushadi, like we use in Ekal Dravya in Kashtaushadi. We Shailya Rasashala already in manufacturing and various areas of research related to Rasaushadi. Now we are moving to education area of Rasaushadis. Many a times what happens, Vaidya knows a particular medicine, they take it, but don't know exact or pinpoint clinical application of it. Secondly, Vaidya don't dare to use Rasaushadi because of lack of confidence in quality, efficacy, and so-called adverse drug reactions. So to make confident and to aware about Rasaushadis, we are arranging series on various group of Rasaushadis like Parpati, Pishti, Bhasma, Pottali, Kharaliya Rasayan, etc. So today we have an eminent speaker and stalwart of this field, Dr. Gopi Krishna Madikera. Presently, he is professor and HOD at SJG Ayurvedic Medical College, Koppal, Karnataka. He has vast experience in all types of Ayurvedic preparations. He is a successful clinician as well as academician with multidimensional views regarding theory as well as practical approach, especially in Rasa Shastra. He has assisted, rather, he is a disciple of Professor Siddhanandan Mishra, sir. He has assisted him in translating Ananda Kanda from Sanskrit to Hindi. Rasaratnakar from Talpatra, which is in Telugu, to Sanskrit. Chikitsa Paddhati from Telugu to Sanskrit, again in Talpatra. He has done collaborative work with many modern institutes like NIT, College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, etc. He has delivered many lectures in national, international seminars and presented papers over there also. I request, with this brief introduction, I request sir to kindly start his session on clinical applications of Kantaloa Bhasma. Sir, please start.
thank you, Dr. Chinmay, for giving this opportunity. Is the slide visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it full and is it? So thank you. I really acknowledge the best for the whole team of Shailya Rasashala and my friend Dr. Chinmay Pondekar for giving me the opportunity to share few of my thoughts and few of my ideas regarding this. And based on this, I would like to come up with my presentation today. And the topic for today's presentation is the Kantaloha. I'm asked to speak about the Kantaloha clinical approach, wherein we'll be discussing on more of the thoughts related to the clinical implications of the Kantaloha. And based on that, we will be going for the detailed enumeration of where it is used and how it is being used. Is there any problem in sharing this?
So please zoom out screen. So
No, I don't have screen right in front of me now. Where do you have the share screen option?
yes, sir.
Yeah. No, where do you have the option for share screen? Is it visible? Yeah. Is it fine now? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Visible now.
So, okay. So thank you very much for this patience, a bit of technical errors. So welcome to the e-course learning from the Shailesh Rajala, and we'll be dealing with few of the topics related to the a clinical approach on Kantaloha Basma and how it can be used in the various protocols in the clinical setup. So this acknowledgement to the organizers, I would like to come up with few of my thought processes wherein we can have more incorporation about the Kantaloha. There are many aspects which is to be considered during the Kantaloha. Few of the things are something like the availability of the drug, next the method of processing, and the most beautiful part is about the therapeutic utility. We'll be having more discussion on the therapeutic utility of this particular Basma, because this proved to be a very, very efficient drug, especially in the clinical perspective. Whenever we are discussing about the concept of the Loha Basma, unfortunately, most of them have taken this as only the one which is the Tikshna Loha Basma. But we are supposed to discuss more about the context like that of the Kantaloha here, which is very much important for us to understand the context. Just because of the reason, the availability of the drug is quite challenging in India. And the second thing is the method of processing is also quite different. And the clinical utility, no doubt, it is very, very efficient drug and it can be used in various protocols. This is the Kantaloha. It's a slightly different from that of the Tikshna Loha Basma. It is more Pakwa Jambu Phalavat, whereas the Loha Basma will be more brownish red. It's still darker red, but this one is more of just Gairikavat, but it is darker than the Gairika. So this is about the Kantaloha Basma. Very efficiently to be used. It takes approximately around 17 Japutas to procure this particular Basma. And the most common thing which most of the people are taking for the processing of the Kantaloha Basma, here in India, very commonly the one which has been taken is this variety. This is the Kantaloha. This is called as a lodestone, or it is called as magnetite, where you can see that iron filings which are being adhered on the sides of the Kantaloha. This is a rock, and you can see the whole rock is having this iron particles on the edges, and you got some iron particles like this stuck on it like this. They're hanging suspended like this, and you can see this iron filings which are adhered on the surface. So this is a very ideal Kanta Pashana. This is not Kantaloha. This is Kanta Pashana, and this is the one what is called as Kanta Loha in Indian pharmaceutical companies, and this is what is being sold out in the market. And no doubt it is definitely effective. It can be used in many of the clinical conditions, but Kantaloha Basma is very, very effective. It's double strong. Similarly, you can have here, this is a close-up view of the Kanta Pashana. You can see the filing, how they are being totally erect, and it is being adhered here on surfaces. And you can have many of the pins and needles being suspended like this in air because of the magnetic properties. So this is what we have for it. This is a more nearer view to see about how iron filings are being adhered to it. This particular rock is having this magnetite property, a magnetic property, which gives a strong adhesion, which gives a very strong the Kanta in the sense it is having an attractive property towards the iron. And this particular phenomenon is also seen even in the sattva of it. So what we need to do is you have to take this rock, extract the sattvapatana, and wherein you get the sattva out of it, that is the magnetite ore. This is a magnetite ore. The extraction of this, you'll get the magnetite, and the magnetite is being taken and that is being used for the Kanta Loha Basma. This is Kanta Pashana. Even Kanta Pashana Basma is no doubt very effective. But from this you do Sattvapana, then you get a sort of a ore, a sort of a metallic component. It is nothing but like regular magnet which you see, but this particular magnet is having, it's very much light weighted, whereas the regular magnet which you purchase from the regular shops in the market, it's not light weighted, it's very heavy. Whereas the magnetite ore what you have from where you extract, it is very, very light in weight and it is very effective. So this particular sattva is called as a Kanta Loha. Now this rock what you see here, Kanta Pashana, you do the Sattvapatana, and out of Sattvapatana you get the Kanta Loha, and from the Kanta Loha you need to convert it into Basma, which needs around 17 Gajaputas for converting it into the Basma. Even though you go with the Kanta Pashana, it definitely converts to a sort of a Basmavat totally within almost 11 to 13 plus Gajaputas, but still you need to give it a security wise, you need another 5 putas to give more to convert it into a Kanta Pashana Basma. So anyway, this you can see how strongly it is being adhered with the nail and it is making it to suspend the air. So this is very specific nature of Kanta Pashana, like this. Even the nail which was seen there also has the magnetic property because it is so strong. This ore, what you have, it's called as a lodestone. It is so strong. You can see this filings here, how they are being erected, it is being adhered on the surfaces like this. And here there is a nail which has been given, and for that even it is showing the attraction property here also, which is also quite away from here, but still you find this magnetic property. So this is a typical tendency of the Kanta Loha, and this particular thing has been named in Ayurveda as the Chumbaka Loha also. Means it gives a sort of attractive power. There are various types of the Kanta Lohas which has been explained in the textbook. Possibly so many varieties of magnetic ore or magnetite is not really found in today's geological science. We have only possibly the Kanta Loha which has been available, and this particular thing is being taken for the clinical trials, and no doubt this is very effective. And once you crush this, mix it with the Dravaka Gana, process it in a musha and try to extract the sattva out of this, then you get a sattva like this. This is very much high in magnetic property. We have molded the sattva in the form of a small cube, and you can see how beautifully it is having that magnetic property. And it can, the magnetic property is very high, but the advantage here with the basic identification is it's very, very light. The magnetic ore what you have, it's a very, very light one, and it is very highly magnetic in property. This is the Kanta Loha or Kanta Loha or Kanta Sattva. So this should be converted to the Basma, which will be very much effective, and it will be very much potent, and it can be used in many clinical trials. This particular thing can be used in many of the clinical trials, and no doubt this stability, one basic quality which you can identify in this particular Pashana is the Pashana which is having magnetic property is being restored even in the Sattva. That shows it is called as the Sthiratva Prapti. The Sthiratva Guna is being still seen there. You still find that Sthira Guna, And this particular Sthiraguna is also been attributed to the humans. So it is also very much serine property even to the humans, and it is very, very effective. And this particular Sthiraguna makes the person to have a very much therapeutically stable condition. What do I speak about stable condition? What do you mean by the stability? Stability in the sense what we do here, you have, there is a chanchalata of the doshas in the body. There is a fluctuation of the doshas in the body. There is an alteration of the dosha sthiti and also the dusha sthiti in an individual, physiologically as well as pathologically. So according to the physiological entity, you have variation. According to the Rutu Anusara, it is having variations. According to the pathological needs also, it is having variations. So there are lots of variations which has been explained as per the norms of Ayurveda. And this particular Kantaloha attributes a sort of that Sthiratva. It uses Sthiraguna there. That Sthiraguna is very much essential for certain things. What are those certain things? The Sthiraguna has been very, very essential for stabilizing the doshas in a normal track. Don't derail it. Let it be in a stabilized way. So what is the stabilized way of the dosha doshas? The most beautiful way to understand the stabilized method of the dosha doshas is the physiology part of it. They have to move in their own channels. They should not have any obstructions. They should not land up into the varied pathways. The same phenomenon is being explained in Ayurveda in the name of Sangha, Kavaigunya, Vimarga Gamana, Ati Pravrutti, Sirana Grantayaha. So you have various terms which has been enumerated as per the norms of Ayurveda. So those things should be attributed, or those things should be kept in mind whenever you plan for planning for administration of such basmas which can show that amount of Sthiraguna. Most of the times the Rasa Aushadhis can show lots of Sthiragunas because they are very stable in nature. They have been lived within the earth crust since centuries, and they show still the same phenomenon. They never get deteriorated. Yeta lohe ta dehe. What is being done there in the metallic plates, the same phenomenon, the Sthiratva Guna, what you see there, it's also been attributed into the individuals or into the humans by administration of any of the drugs which is having these Sthiragunas. And one such clinically evaluated or physically evaluated thing, what you can see there is about the qualities like the magnetic property. So this particular magnetic property will definitely have that impact, and it shows that property is sustained even in the end product, even after extracting with such a high temperature of nearly 2,000 to 3,000 degrees. And even after that, it is so eminent and efficient. So similarly, let us not wander around going to the other topics. Let us focus only on the Gunakarma, what is being explained only as per Rasaratna Samuchaya today. There are lots of textbooks which have some slight variations in the thought process, but still we are focusing only on 2 shlokas of Rasaratna Samuchaya, where he emphasizes the utility of the Kantaloha Basma, the Gunakarmas of it, and how we can try to understand these 2 qualities, or the enumeration of the Kantaloha Basma, Gunakarma, therapeutically, where we have to give, why we have to give, and all. What are the clinical indications of it, and what is it we have to take away the message to practice it in our routine clinical practice. The first shloka what you have is Guna Kantayaha Kameniya Kantijananam Pandvamayon Amayon Mulanam Yakshma Vyadi Nibarhanam Garaharam Doshatrayon Mulanam Nanakushta Vinashanam Balakaram Vrushyam Vayastambhanam Sarva Vyadiharam Rasayanavaram Omamrutam na aparam. Loham jantu vikara pandu pavana kshinatva pittamaya sthaulyarsho grahani jwara arti kafaji kafa jitshofa prameha pranuta gulma pliha vishapaham balakaram kushta agnimandya pranutta saukyam saukyalambhi rasayanam mrudharam kittam cha kantadivat. So this is a reference from Rasaratna Samochaya. Let us try to decode what are these phenomena which has been explained as per the Ayurveda. That is the Rasaratna Samochaya, the most useful textual reference where we go for it, and try to analyze in what way should we take this, and try to consider the understanding of this in a clinical perspective. So this will be the core part of what we have to understand on the ground of Ayurveda. He speaks about gunaha, kantayaha. So that is the kantaloha, where you have this. He speaks about kamini, kanti jananam. So the first one is a kamini. Kamini in the sense that this is the one which is excessively used as an aphrodisiac. It is used as where you have a person with a loss in libido, and it is used as a Vushya property. It is specifically used in both the genders. It does the dhatu sarata. Why did I speak about the term called as dhatu sarata? It is dhatu sarata just because of the reason loss of libido or either of the things of these kinds related to the Shukravashrotas is related to the Shukravashrotas, and you have the depletion in either of the Shrotas. One of the Shrotas which eventually affected is the Shukravashrotas. In case if you have a person suffering from Rasavaha, Shroto, Dushti or Kshinata, eventually it converts to Raktakshaya, Mamsakshaya, Medokshaya, and ultimately the Shukrakshaya. And the vice versa might be this is what you have called in Ayurveda as Anulomakshaya and the Pratilomakshaya. The Pratilomakshaya is where you have the depletion starting with the Shukra Dhatu and ascending up. Like you have Majja, once the Shukra has been affected, next Majja is affected, next the Asti. So eventually it goes up. This is the Pratilomakshaya. Anulomakshaya is Rasa Rakta Mamsa Meda in that way. So either the ways, like whatever the affected process you have is from Shukravashrotas onwards. So this is one such a drug which is very much significantly to be given in the conditions where you have the Pratilomakshaya. There are so many disorders which are being explained by the Acharya in the form of the Pratilomakshaya Vyadhis. In those conditions, we are prescribing the Kantaloha Basma. It is one such a drug which is extensively used as a Rasayana property. It is no doubt very effective in many of the disorders related to the reproductive system, but still, as a matter of concern, Kamini is not alone to make it more aphrodisiac or used in the conditions of the loss in libido. It is also to be understood on the grounds like it never makes the Shukra Adi Dhatus to land up into the Kshina Avastha. Because once you have the Shukra Kshaya, the probability of the loss in libido is quite high in the person. So for this term, Kamini is being used there. Also, this particular thing will give a sort of a improvement in the personal life of an individual, and also the vigor and vitality can be given the utility of the Kantaloha Basma. Next is Kanti Jananam, the second term which has been explained as the Kanti Jananam. Kanti Jananam in the sense where we consider Kantikaram is nothing but a context of where the person is having the Dhatu Sarata, either of the Dhatu Sarata. Say for example, the person is having some Mamsakshaya extensively. He turns the whole body quite emaciated and he turns to be Kanti Hina. He turns to be Kanti Hina. So on that ground, what you need to do, you have to see like the patient will have the Kanti Vardhanam in the sense it is Dhatu Sarata being attributed. So Dhatu Sarata is being attributed, the person appears like a Dhatu Sara Lakshana. Once he has the Dhatu Saratva, then it has been reflected in his health consciousness. It has been seen in an individual. A person with either of the Dhatu Kshinata, the Kanti of an individual is being lost. So what we do is in any of the chronicity of the illnesses where you have the severe depletion of the multiple dhatus, Kantaloha is being prescribed. I do remember many of the cases wherein the person is on chemotherapy, the person is taking radiation, the person, the very look appears to be very, very pathetic. He looks so sick. So in those people, Kantaloha Basma is a drug of choice. It can be given. There are certain conditions like possibly it's a case of Vatavyadi. The chronicity of the illness might be in the form of a Gradrasi or Ardita or Pakshagata, where the person has lost his vitality in the form of his Kanti Hina, where he looks a sort of a sick personality. He gives a sick look. So this is one such a drug not to be used in the initial form of the disease. It is to be used in a higher set of diseases. It's not like person is having small variation in one or two dhatus and the person is unable to definitely go with understanding of the Alpa Dosha Avastha, then Kantaloha Basma is not a drug of choice. There we are going for simple Loha Basma, which is Tikshna Loha. But here what we do in this particular way, Kantaloha is specifically given in the conditions where you have the more amount of the Dhatu Kshinata has been observed, where you have the severity or debilitated, wherein the person will have a sort of an improvement in his Kanti. It's not alone the cosmetic value, it is also the reflection of the inner health. The inner health is being appreciated by the administration of the Kantaloha. The next, what it has been explained is about the Pandu. Pandu is not alone just an anemic state. Pandu is a very big disease, which is a complication of Jwara. It's complication related to that of the hepatic biliary system. It is a disease related to the Raktavashrotas. It is a disease related to the Jivana Adhara of an individual. Because Raktavashrotas, once it has been involved, the basic function of the Rakta is the Jivanam. Prenanam, Jivanam, Lepo, Sneho, Dharana, Purnehi. So the Jivana Shakti of an individual lies in his hemopoietic system or the Raktavashrotas. And the depletion or alteration in the Raktavashrotas is the Pandu. So here you have this particular Pandu where you have the involvement of primarily the Rasa and the Raktavashrotas. So Kantaloha Basma is one such indication specifically given in Rasa and Raktavashrotas. I do remember a case wherein she had erythrocytopenia. The erythrocytes or there is alterations in the platelet counts in an individual, and person has never seen the increment in the platelet counts. Our biopsy of the bone marrow is normal. The blood picture shows very decreased amount of the platelets. Many times these patients, even though they are not having any problems in their bone marrow, they consider these people as malignant and they start the chemotherapy. This is unfortunate to say. But what we do, we are giving the drugs to them like that of the Kantaloha. One more alternative you have is a Pravala Pishti. Usually what we do in those cases where you have the erythrocytopenia or any of such conditions, we are mixing Kantaloha Basma along with the Pravala Pishti, and it is given to the patient most of the times with something like Manjishtha, Khadirarishta, or sometimes we are giving it with Laksharasa, depending on what status it is. If it is related to the bone marrow, then Laksharasa is a drug of choice because its action is more on the Astivashrotas, and Majja is laid within the Asti. So bone marrow development. So we give them where you have some deformities from the moola of it, that is from the bone marrow status. There we are giving it along with the Laksharasa. In case if it is only the hemopoietic alteration, where many times the pathology is being related to that of the liver, Then in those conditions, we are giving Kantaloha Basma along with a combination of small concentrations of Tamra or Swarnamakshika in a combination. Say, for example, you're giving 125 milligram of Kantaloha. To that, we mix around 1/4 Ratti, approximately around 35 milligram of Tamra or 65 milligram of Swarnamakshika is mixed up along with the Kantaloha, and it is given to the patient where he is expected to have a good response with the hemopietic or in case of hepatobiliary alterations, wherein the person is having liver pathology and wherein the person will have sort of disorders in the hemopietic system where you have the alterations in the blood counts. So in all those conditions, we are going for the administration of this particular Loha Basma. They have specific variety wherein you have the influence of the liver pathologies. Then the question comes, why are you speaking about liver? You are speaking about the Pandu now. Yes, definitely. Pandu, according to Ayurveda, is being related to the liver. It's not related to something else. It is related to the liver. Just because of the reason, Raktavah Shrotasam Moolam Ekrutu Plihu. So the Raktavah Shrotas, any alterations, including Pandu, it's very much related to the Moola Sthana. The Moola Sthana is a Ekrut and Pliha. So again, the liver has been affected with the chronicity of the illnesses or severe debility because of the Bahudoshavastha. The Moola Sthana of that particular Shrotas has also been involved, that is the Ekrut. The second thing, when you read the chapter of Kamala, Pandu is considered as a Pura Rupa of Kamala. So again, you have a condition wherein the person is suffering from Kamala, in the sense he is already suffering from Pandu as well. So in all these conditions, Kantaloha Basma is to be given to the patient. And most of the times you want to have some metabolic alterations in the liver. Then the choice could be something like, as I said, with Tamra or Swarnamakshika. The second choice could be something like where you can ask the patient to take it along with the drugs like that of the Kumaryasava. So you have the Kantaloha Basma along with Kumaryasava. In case of a moderate liver pathologies or conditions where you have the Pandu presentation, like might be erythrocytopenia, aplastic anemia, myeloid leukemias, or any of the alterations related to that of the Pandu. And in case if it is a severe stage, then we go for the administration of the Kantaloha Basma along with Tamra or Swarnamakshika with Khadirarishta or with Manjishtadikada or any of the substances and administer it to the patient. In case if it is related to the bone marrow, that is the next level, where you have the involvement of formation itself in the bone marrow, where you have possibly some alteration in the biopsy of the bone marrow observed in the patient in the investigations. In those patients, we are mixing the Kantaloha along with the Trivanga. So that is the Tridhatu Garbha Potali is a combination which I take usually in my prescriptions. So what I do is I mix up the Trivanga Basma or Tridhatu Garbha Potali along with Kantaloha, and it is given to the patient who is suffering from the disorders of the bone marrow. The Anupanam could be something like the Laksharasa. So these are few of the choices where we go in alterations with that of the Panduroga, where we have either a bone marrow or either at the liver level or in the hemopietic system. So in all these conditions, the Kantaloha acts as a drug of choice. No doubt, whenever you see into the modern science or the biochemistry, the ferritin and the transferritin are the precursors of the RBC, or where you have the precursors, and for that formation you need the iron component. So you have either of the iron components, like you have the Loha, you have the Mandura, you have the Kantaloha, Tikshna Loha, either of the things. But one thing you need to keep in mind, Acharya and Rasaratna Samuchaya has said, Gunothara, the best variety among the Loha Varga is the Kantaloha. So according to that, you can use the best variety of it in the patients who are suffering from any of such disorders. The next thing what he speaks about is Kanti Jananam Pandvamayon Moolanam. So he speaks about Ama Moola. So what is that Ama Moola? Ama, okay, fine. We know what is Ama. Amon Moolanam. The word which Acharya has used is Amon Moolanam. Ama is also a synonym of Vyadhi. Ama is also a synonym of Vyadhi, disease, any of the diseases. Mula, the mula of the Vyadhi, where you have the mula sthana of a Vyadhi. It is Amashaya, Pakvashaya or Amapakvashaya, the Udbhava sthana of the disease. The second thing is where you have the Shroto Mula, like Rasava Shrotasa Moolam, Rudayam Dashadamanyaha, Raktavaha Shrotasa Moolam, Yakrutliho. So in that way, you have the Mula sthanas which has been affected. When you have the Mula sthana of an individual which has been affected, any of the Shrotasas, Ama is a disease, it's a synonym of a disease. Mula is the Mula organ or the way of the Udbhavasthana. In both of these conditions means Kantaloha is not the first choice of medicine when you have the Alpadoshavastha. When the disease is being totally manifested or it is going out of your reach or in a status where the chronicity of the illness is seen or where you have the multiple shrotasas which are being involved, where you have the Bahudosha Avastha in an individual, then the choice is the Kantaloha. Amon Moolanam. So when the Ama or Yadi Moola to be removed out or it should be derooted, then you need to give them with that of the Kantaloha. The total genesis of the disease is being seen and you find the Mula sthana is also being affected. Say for example, the person suffering from a particular disease. Say for example, we'll take the present pandemic. People are suffering from the COVID crisis, where you have the involvement of the Rasavah Shrotas and also the Pranavah Shrotas. So where the patient is having a mild to moderate symptoms and you happen to treat the patient with some Shwasahara or Jwaragna treatments, considering the Pranava Shrotas and the Rasava Shrotas, and you have treated him. But the level is not just over. There is something else more you need to understand there, because for the more to happen, in case if the person goes into a severe or the drastic COVID changes where you have the Mula sthana of the individual is being affected. Pranava Shrotasa Moolam, it is again Hridayan the Dashadanya, where you have the Rasava Shrota Moola is also again the Hridaya. So you have the Hridaya being a common Moola sthana of the Pranava Shrotas and the Rasava Shrotas. That is the reason why people are dying because of the cardiac arrest in the post-COVID period, because the Moola sthana has been affected. So that is the stage where you have to use a Kantaloha. So this is the stage where you are supposed to use the Kantaloha, which is very much beneficial from Mula sthana. No doubt, the general meaning of the Ama is where it is helpful for ruling out the disease, for clearing the disease, or it is very much useful to remove the Ama. It has the Deepana Pachana quality by which the Ama is being totally dissolved out and the person becomes, it is being relieved out of Ama. So this is a stage, or this is the way how you can take with the Ama condition. But to go into the deeper aspects, how we can really decode this particular shloka, we need to understand is the Mula sthana of the disease, the Mula of the genesis of the disease is to be treated with the Kantaloha, which is usually observed in the Dirgha Kalina Vyadhis, that is in the chronicity of the illnesses. So Amon Moolam, it is going to remove it from the root. So this is the basic terminology how we take. Yakshma is the next thing which has been explained. Yakshma in the sense wherein the people are been suffering from the Rajakshma. This is what people have taken, something like tuberculosis. No, it's not alone there. It's also useful for treating the patients suffering from the Kshaya Vyadhis. Yakshma is having a synonym called as a Kshaya. So it is used in various disorders where you have the Kshaya being involved, where you have a person suffering from any of the Kshayas, any of the Dhatu Kshaya, any of the Dhatu Sara Kshaya, any of the conditions wherein the person is suffering from the Kshaya state of either of the Dushyas or the Dhatus. In those conditions, you are supposed to give him Kantaloha. When you have the Vruddhi Sthana, or when you have the Vruddhi, say for example, Medho Vruddhi or some other Vruddhi, Kantaloha is not the first choice of drug. When you have the Mamsa Kshaya, then Kantaloha is a drug of choice. Similarly, for any of the Dhatus, any of the conditions, when you have this, it should be given in the state of Kshayavastha. Wherever you have the kshinata in an individual, kshinata in the dhatus, kshinata in the doshas, kshinata in the malas, specifically the doshas, you are supposed to prescribe the patient with the Kantaloha. Don't prescribe it in Vriddhi Lakshanas. When you have Mamsa Vriddhi, you have Medho Vriddhi, don't give him Kantaloha. It could be the second choice, not the first choice. Whereas you are supposed to give it when you have, in case of Kshinata or Kshaya. And even in the Kshaya, what happens most of the times, the Anupanam for most of these things is we can go for the drug related to that particular Shrotas and accordingly can give. You want in general, it could be something like Amruta Churna as an Anupanam, can give something like Amalaki Rasayanam as an Anupanam. Most of the times I do select this combination. I make the patient to take 120 milligram of Kantaloha with 250 milligrams of Amalaki Rasayana, ask him to mix it with honey and take it. So this is the best Rasayana what I can give to the patient, especially in the Kshina Avastha or the Shosha or the Kshaya, whatever we name it. So in all these conditions, we are prescribing the patient with the drugs like that of the Kantaloha, and we make the patient to use them in this particular way. The another combination wherein the people are very much interested to take it in the form of a Rasayanartha, the combination of Ashtanga Sangraha where you give as a Vayasthapaka, you have a Rasayana Churna which has been explained. It's a combination of Amruta, Amalaki and Gokshura. So it is all 1:1:1. To that we are mixing the Kantaloha along with Makaradwaja and give it to the patient. It makes an excellent composition wherein it can be taken once daily in the Rasayana Kala, that is in the morning times. So we are asking the patient to take around half a spoon of it, approximately around 3 to 5 grams, single dose. So this is the second variety. The first one is about with the Amalaki Rasayana along with honey. The second choice is Amruta, Gokshura and Amalaki mixed with Kantaloha and Makaradwaja and given to the patient, wherein he can have a good improvement in case of Kshinata or Rasayanartha. If you find the patient is having more of lean personality, the person is very lean enough, you can ask him to go with Anupanam with that of the Grita. Might be if it is extensively, drastically is down, we can go for Shatavari Grita or Ashwagandha Grita as an Anupanam. If he is not so lean enough, then in those patients, you can just go with the powder combinations which I have enumerated. In case if you find the person is a Staulya and he would like to take it as a Rasayana, to those people we can mix up with either Godanti Basma as an added component, especially in the Pitta Prakriti people, where we can have a choice like the Godanti Basma along with this above combinations, either with the Amalaki Rasayana or with the Rasayana Churna of the Gokshura, Amruta and Amalaki. Along with the Makaradwaja, you can add small quantities of Godanti, which could be more beneficial in the patients with the Pitta Prakriti. In case if the patient is more of the Kapha Prakriti or Stulya, then Kantaloha Basma is mixed with Vanga and it is being given to the patient, which is also very much helpful for the patients who are Stulya. So people who are Stulya can take it along with Vanga Basma, that is especially the Kapha Prakriti people. The Pitta Prakriti people, it is the Kantaloha to be given along with the Godanti Basma. For the lean personalities, we are giving along with the Grita. So there are slight alterations, but definitely you can design it as per the patient's requirement, doshas of the patient, and accordingly can plan up your treatments for your patient. Accordingly, can try to give it by which the patient will have a good benefit by the administration of the Ekshma Vyadhi. The second context, how we take it as a Ekshma Vyadhi, is Ekshma is sort of a syndrome-like presentation. Ekshma is an involvement of all the three doshas and the sapta dhatus. So it is something like a syndrome-like presentations. Raja Ekshma, the king of the diseases. It is something like where you have the multiple shrotas involved, the Bahudoshavastha, the chronicities of the illnesses, where you have the multiple shrotas involvement, where you have the Bahudosha state, where you have the severe depletion in an individual. In all these conditions, we are prescribing the patient with that of the Kantaloha Basma. So it's in the severity of the illnesses, you have to go with a choice of the Kantaloha. This is not the first choice of drug in the mild disorders. This should be given in chronicity. This should be given in chronicity or the Bahudoshavastha, which could be very much beneficial. So this is the advantage of going with that of the administration of the Yakshma, or trying to understand it on the grounds of Yakshma Vyadhi. The next thing what Acharya is indicated is the Garaharam. Garaharam, it's a very significant term to be used in today's practice, because Garaharam is one such thing which is very much useful. The definition of the Gara means more than one non-toxic substances combined to make it toxic to an individual. It's called as Gara. More than one non-poisonous substances mixed together makes it a poison. Then it is called as Garavisha. So this particular thing, it is very much important, just because of the reason today people are being accustomed to take lots of junk foods, fast foods, artificial diets, chemical processed, and you have lots of disorders which are popping in because of this particular Garavisha. I take a particular carbonated drink along with a sort of a packet, some bakery item, and all of a sudden it's not showing any poisonous effect in me. But consistently, a person takes it for some another 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, that person will land up into diabetes. This is for sure. Even WHO has claimed, like, a person who is accustomed of taking junk foods at randomly, not daily, at randomly for at least 10 years will end up into diabetes. So even in these conditions, or even in this pathological status where you have the involvement of more than these junk items, it causes various disorders. One such example is a prameha, which is given now. But any of the disorders, then in those conditions, the person will suffer, or the person will have lots of diseases because of this Garavisha. These things are called as Garavishas. They show an impact eventually. They don't show the impact immediately. They show the impact eventually. So even in these conditions, you are supposed to prescribe to the patient as the Kantaloha. So here, usually it's a Garavisha, or Gara is a sort of a toxin. And for this particular thing, usually what we do is we are giving it a combination of drugs like that of Tamra, or something like that of Swarna. So Tamra or Swarna, it's also having the Gara Vishahara property. So Kantaloha Basma mixed with Tamra Basma 65 milligram, Kantaloha 125 milligram, Swarna Basma 35 milligram. Make a very good combination as Gara Vishahara. So this is very much useful as a very good component or a very good composition of the drug, which can be given in the patients suffering from the Garavisha. So these benefits can be availed by taking the Kantaloha. Again, it is indicated to be taken in the eventual process, means the Dirgha Kalina Vyadhis, or you have a status of the Lina Doshas in an individual. So in these status of the Lina Doshas, you are supposed to take the drugs like that of the Kantaloha Basma, which would be very much useful. The next disease which has been told is the Tridoshaja Vyadhis or Sannipataja Vyadhis, what we take it as Doshatrayon Moolanam, where he speaks. So Doshatrayon Moolanam, where you have the disorders related to the Sannipata Vyadhis. So Doshatraya, or the Vata, Pitta and Kapha, it removes the disorders of the Sannipata Vyadhis along with its Moola. So again, the Moola Sthana is being seen here. The Moola of the Shrotas, the Moola of the disease. So all those Moolas are being removed. It is the Amashayota Vyadhis, Pakwashayota Vyadhis, it repairs Ama Pakwashaya, because the Udbhavasthana is Ama Pakwashaya in the posture. The second thing is about the Dhatu Moolata, or because of the Shroto Moola, where you have the chronicity of the diseases and the Moola is being affected. So it becomes a Shroto Moola. So in all these conditions, Tridoshaja Vyadhis affecting, or the tridosha or the sannipataja vyadis affecting the moolasthana of a disease, or chronicity of the disease making it sannipataja vyadis. Initially, it was only vataja or pittaja or kaphaja. Eventually, because of the non-proper treatment, it has converted to the sannipataja vyadi. So in that state, you are supposed to use the Kantaloha. So this is the way how the clinical administration of Kantaloha is being seen in Tridoshaja conditions. Though again, I would like to emphasize it is the chronicity of the illness. When you have a patient suffering from a Sannipataja Vyadi and is having a history of past 3 days or 5 days, Kantaloha Basma is not a choice. In case if it is a chronicity of the illness, in those conditions, we are having an excellent composition of the Kantaloha Basma to be given in those patients. The next thing what he speaks of is Nana Kushta Vinashanam. So it is useful in various types of kushtas. I will say, what are various types of kushtas? Is that what is being enumerated in the chapter of kushta? Is that then he would have used the term called as kushta? Then why did he use the term called as Nana Kushta Vinashanam? Probably Acharya wants to increase the bulk of the book, so he has written Nana Kushta. Is it so? No, it's not like that. Kushta, you would have mentioned only Kushta there, which enumerates the disorders of the Kushta chapter, which has been explained in the textbook. You have all the types of the Kushtas, all might be the 20 types of Kushtas, whichever is being explained there, which could be treated very well. But he speaks of Nana Kushta. What is that Nana Kushta? Varied types of Kushtas. A person is suffering from diabetes, he has a skin presentation called as Prameha Pidaka, which is not explained in the chapter of Kushta. It's explained in the chapter of Prameha. A person is suffering from Vatarata, is having some skin presentation, which is explained in the chapter of Vatarata, not in Kushta. A person who is having a Krimi Roga is being seen with the skin presentation, and it is explained in the chapter of the Krimi, not here. A person who is having discoloration of the skin, say for example, he is suffering from a discoloration in the form of a blackish discoloration, it is because of Vata. A whitish discoloration, it is because of the Kapha. Yellowish discoloration, it is because of the Pitta. This we know very well. All these discolorations, what you have over the skin presentation, because of the various disorders as well, are being included into the purview of the Kantaloha Basma Sevana. It's not alone only the Mandala, Dadru, Siddhma, Matsya Shakala. No, not alone those kushtas. It includes even the Kshudra Kushta. It includes even the skin presentations of a diabetic patient, skin presentation of a renal patient, skin presentation of a liver patient, so skin presentation of a Vatarakta patient. So all these conditions where you have a Kushta as a presentation even from the various diseases, not alone from the chapter on Kushta. Shvitra is another condition which is very much next to Kushta. So all these things are also being addressed well. And again, let me tell you, Nana Kushta Vinashanam is a term which is being explained is for the chronicity. You have a patient suffering from diabetes, you don't have the Prameha Pidakas in the initial form. Might be it is you neglect it for some time or it goes into the Bahudosha Avastha, only then you have the Prameha Pidakas. It's a complication. It comes in the Beda Avastha of the Kriya Kala. Prameha Pidaka comes into the Beda Avastha, not in the Chayan Prakopa Avastha. So again, this signifies this is a drug of choice to begin in the patients who are suffering from the Dirgha Kalina Vyadis or in the chronicity of the illness or in the Vekta and the Beda Avastha of the disease. So Nana Kushta Vinashanam, in the sense all the varieties of the Kushta which you can see in the various systemic presentations can be given here for the patients, and the Kantaloha Basma is ideal choice. You have a patient suffering from some respiratory disorder. He has a sort of a bluish discoloration in his fingers, cyanosis, hypoxic changes. All these changes are being addressed very well by administration of the Kantaloha Basma. Might be you have to suit a suitable anupanam to the drug so that it can act more pinpointingly, and that drug combination or the anupanam depends on the yukti of the doctor. And according to that, as I have given some examples till now, in the same way, you can frame your own examples or examples from the various herbal components or mineral components, and it can be given to the patients for addressing the issues of the various skin presentations. So this is about the Nana Kushta Vinashanam. The next is Balakaram. Balakaram is something like strengthening the person, no doubt. Strengthening the health of an individual is also Balakaram. Strengthening the dosha sthirata in an individual is also Balakaram. Strengthening the loss of any of the dhatus is also strengthening of an individual. Bala is also synonym of kapha. So this is one such a drug. Even though it is Sannipataja Vyadihara, or it is balancing the three doshas, it is slightly Kafakara. This is giving a sort of nourishment in the form of a Brahmana effect, a sort of Kafakara effect. That is Balakaram. So it is also very much emphasized to be given in Vata, Pittaja conditions. It's not like it should not be given in Kaphaja conditions, but definitely it is more effective in Vata and Pittaja conditions. But it is helpful in making the Drudhikarana of the Sthirata of the individual or the dosh levels. The next is the Vrushyam. Again, we have discussed about the aphrodisiac property and the Shukradhatu involvement there. Vayasthambanam. So it stabilizes the age processing. And for this, you have the combination in Ashtanga Sangraha Uttarasthana, where he speaks about Amruta, Amalaki, and Bokshura, Vayastambakaranam. So similarly, those drugs can be mixed along with the Kantaloha, and it can be given to the patient, which would be very much beneficial. So that is the Vayastambanam. Sarvya Vyadiharam. Again, it's a repetition, like you have the Kshaya, which has been given in the Aposhloka, is also the Bahudoshavastha, or the more of the Dushas are being involved. Similarly, here it is Sarva Vyadiharam, where you have a syndrome-like presentation, where you have multiple disorders. A person is suffering from hypertension, is suffering from diabetes, is suffering from thyroid illness, is suffering from arthritic presentation. So he is having lots of complaints together. It is called as Sarva Vyadiharam. So you have some of this beautiful nature as Sarva Vyadiharam. Like you have Abha, you have Sodamakshika. Similarly, you have here is Kantaloha, which is Sarva Vyadiharam. It can be given in the patients suffering from various disorders or syndrome-like presentations, where you have multiple systemic involvements of the diseases. Then you are supposed to prescribe the patient that of the Sarva Vyadihara substance. So this is the advantage of taking the Kantaloha Basma. Rasayana Vara, this is considered as one of the best Rasayana. It is going to attribute the Dhatusara. It is said to be exclusively beneficial in administering in many of these conditions. Bhomamatam na aparam. Bhomamrutam na aparam, in the sense, on the earth there is no other nectar other than Kantaloha Basma. It is such a the best combination on the earth. There is no substitute, or there is no alterations, there is no second thought in it. It is one of the best form of the nectars which is available on the earth, and which is not available possibly elsewhere. So this is the benefit of the Kantaloha Basma, which can be taken. Loham Jantu Vikara, it is used in case of the Krimi Rogas. Krimi Rogas are most of the times very, very notorious. We think so, something like only the tapeworm or the roundworm or hookworm, which you see in the pediatric practice, is the only Krimi Roga. But many times there are lots of krimis which is making lots of stress in an individual. It presents in a person in the form of a kushta, it can present in the form of a jwara, it can present in the form of varied complaints. I have a patient suffering from epilepsy since birth, and she is somewhere around 26, 27, and she's having a larva of an organism in her brain. Unfortunately, being not diagnosed, she was taking Eption, anti-epileptic medicine, from almost 27 years, and she has taken lots of pain and discomfort. When she's come to us, we have analyzed her other presentations like itching all over the skin, digestion problem, not paripakvata of the motion is being seen, there is some Saraka Vibhajana is being altered, the other Lakshanas of the Krimi. And according to that, we have analyzed and we have given her simple drugs like Kantaloha Bhasma, simple drugs like Krumikuthara Rasa and Tamragarbha Potali as a combinations. The person is fine. The larva in the brain is got dying. And she's not taking any anti-epileptic drugs. She's not taking even any Ayurvedic medicines. At least from past 10 years, she's not taking any medicines for the epilepsy. And in this 10 years, she did not had any episode of epilepsy as this particular epilepsy is because of the Krumi. So that's the reason why I have given that example here. That is Jantu Vikara. You have a larva, which is usually seen in the vegetables, the leafy vegetables, which in case the vegetables has not been properly washed, it enters into the brain and it settles there. So this causes lots of epileptic-like presentation in an individual. The next disease which has been explained is again he stresses on the term called as Pandu, and he continues it as Pandu Pavanakshinatva. So he speaks about Pandu. When you have Raktavashrotas specifically affiliated with the Vata, then this drug is a choice. Vata Kshinata, Vata Kshaya conditions, you are supposed to use it. The Kantaloha Bhasma. Where you have the impairment of the Vata in a body, then you are supposed to use it. Also, it's not like only Vata Kshaya. He speaks about Pittamaya, disorders of the Pitta. Either it is Vruddhi or Kshaya. The disorders of the Pitta, Vata, especially in the Kshinavastha, and also the Sthaulya patients related to the Kapha. So it is useful for the Kshinata of the Vata, Vruddhi or Kshaya of the Pitta, the Sthaulya Rupa of the Kapha. So it is used as Sanipataja. It is also used in these disorders. Added to that, because addressing the conditions like that of the Ama, addressing the conditions like that of the Krimi, and also the Mula Sthana of the disorders, it is definitely beneficial for treating the conditions of Harshas. It is also useful in treating the Harshas. And it's not like you repair the Harshas. It has also been indicated in Grahani, Jwara, Arati. So Grahani in the sense, it is something like all the disorders of the Agni. Possibly you have completed the textbook of Kaya Chikitsa. Grahani Vyadi is a condition wherein, in case if you're able to understand Charaka Chikitsa 15 treatment, the Grahani Chikitsa, then it is something like you have accomplished the Vata, the whole of the Kaya Chikitsa. So Grahani is such an important phenomenon to be understood in Ayurveda, and based on that, you are supposed to use it. Jwara is an infective pathology. It's a disorder related to the Rasavashrotas. Arati, lassitude, weakness, Kshinata of an individual. Kapha, and it is also Shofa, the disorders related to that of the Udakashrotas, like you have the Shofa pathology. Prameha Pranutha, it also useful in the conditions like that of the Prameha, that is a diabetic status. And it is useful in the conditions like Gulma, Pliha, Vishapaham. It is used in treating the disorders of the gut. Gulma. Gulma is considered to be the disorders of the abdomen, abdominal tumors. It's considered as Gulma. Pliha, of course, Raktavashrotasamula Mekrut Pliho. So Kantaloha is one of drug which can act on the Ekrut as well as the Pliha, the disorders related to the Raktavashrotas, because the Mula Sthana is Ekrut Pliha. Vishapaham is another word which is very beautifully coined by the Acharya, where it makes the person to go into detoxification. So you have some allergies today, it is because of the Visha. The person has been intoxicated, it is Visha. Might we can go for a suitable Anupanam like that of the Shirisha. Whenever you're giving as Vishahara for the allergic manifestation, allergic rhinitis, allergic bronchitis, allergic asthma, you have many of the allergic conditions, allergic urticarial rashes. In all these conditions, Kantaloha Bhasma is given along with Jiraka, Haridra, Shirisha. So these are few of the combinations which are given for Vishapaham. Balakaram is the same. Kushta, Agnimandya. It is used in the skin presentations, Agnimandya, because already we have discussed the Grahani. So again, it's related to Agni. That is used in Agnimandya, Pranota. Saukhya, Saukhyalambi Rasayanam. So it is going to give a sort of a comfort. You'll be having a sort of a healthy feeling. You find something like I feel myself something like very healthy. So that Saukhyata Prapti, it is Saukhyalambi Rasayanam. And it is definitely a very good Rasayana property, which is given, attributed by making it into a Bhasma. So, Vrutiharam Kittam cha Kanthadivat. So, all these Bhasmas are very much useful. So, you have a small extension of this particular shloka, again, where he speaks about Kantayo Atirasayanottharottharam Swasthe Chirayu Pradasnigdho Mehaharam Tridosha Shamanam Shula Amon Mulapaham Gulma Pliha Yakrut Kshaya Amaya Haram Pandu Udaramya Adi Tiktoshna Himaviryam Himaparam Yogena Sarva Aratinut. So here it is Atirasayanam. We have discussed about this because it is helpful for the nourishment of all the dhatus. Swasthe, it is going to give a sort of a swasthyata. So swastha definition is well known in Ayurveda. Samadhatu, Samagni, Sama, Dosha, Malakriya. So all these things will happen because of the Kantaloha Bhasma. So it is given as swasthe. And also Chirayu Prada, it is going to give you a longevity of the life, which is going to increase the life expectancy of an individual. It is used as Vayasthapana, and also it is Chirayu Prada. So on that grounds, Kantaloha is so useful to increase the life expectancy of an individual. Snigdha, it is Snigdha Guna. It is helpful for the combination of the various molecules in the body because of its Snigdha Guna. The bonding between the bonds of various molecules is also because of the Snigdha Guna. Mehajaram, it is also used in the disorders of the Prameha. Tridoshagnam, Sannipataja conditions. Stula, the pain-related conditions or the disorders of the abdomen, like the Parinama Shula. And also Amon Mulapaham, where you have the conditions as Vyadhi Mula is being affected, then you are supposed to give them with that of the Kantaloha Bhasma, which can be used. Gulma is again the abdominal tumors. Pliha, Yakrit, Yakshma. So Yakshma is debility condition where you have the multiple dhatus which has been involved, then it is called as Yakshma. Pandu is again, it is a repetition here from Rasaratna Samuchaya in the Kantaloha Guna, where again it is used in the disorders of the hemopoietic system or the Rata or Rasava Shotas. Udara related to that of the Udava Shotas, where you have the Udara has been affected, then also Kantaloha is to be given. It is Tikta Rasa Ushnavirya. It is Ushna Guna and Himavirya or Sheta Virya. A very important phenomenon wherein the people speak about the Rasaushadis. People don't know so whether this people can really go with the understanding of the Rasa people. Do they really see about the Rasa Guna Virya Vipaka? Definitely. Every shloka is having its definition. Every shloka is giving its opinion regarding how the doshas are being involved because of the Tiktata, Ushnata. It is Shita Virya. Kimaparam Yogena. What is the best other formulation you need when you have Kantaloha Bhasma in your hand? Because it is specifically given in so many conditions. Kimaparam Yogena. What else you need? What all other formulations you need? Everything has been seen here. So this is Kimaparam Yogena. Sarvaratinut. So it is useful for management of all the disorders. So Sarva Arati, so all the pain, lassitude, weakness, all these things. For understanding all these conditions, Kantaloha is an excellent choice. So to sum up all these phenomena, one thing I would like to stress is it's having its multifaceted action at multiple levels, but it can be given specifically in the Dirgha Kalina Vyadhis or in the form of a chronicity of the illnesses, or where it's not a first choice of drug in every case. It should be the first choice of drug in the chronicity of the illness or Bahudoshavastha, or where you have the state landing up from Vekthavastha to the Bedhavastha. When it is you're shifting from the disease into the Upadrava state. In those conditions, you are supposed to administer to the patient with that of the Kantaloha Basma. So these are few of the important things which I would like to get to you, and few of my basic experiences in suiting it with various anupanam or formulations where I give it in my routine clinical practice. See, most of the times it happens like the clinic need not be always in the form of having it in the form of formulations. I enumerate many times to my students stating like it's something like a panbidostol. You have all the basmas there based on the patient's presentation. Just take the combinations there, mix it to in a mortar and pestle and give it to the patient. This is the best means of how you can practice. It's not like always I go to a particular clinic, that person doesn't have Ekanga Veera. Then what sort of practice will you do? No. He doesn't have Chandraprabha, which is such a basic thing. So possibly his practice is not that really good. No, but you have these combinations, then you can be more predominant and more choosing as per the patient needs. So that's the reason why most of our preparations, like what you have, are very much tailor-made for every patient, and according to that, we mix it in a particular combination and give it to the patient. So these are few of the advantages or few of the things like which I would like to enumerate on the grounds of the Kantaloha Basma and its clinical utilities. The dosage is usually, in case you would like to give it in a small dosage to the patient, it's half to 1 rati, and anupanam is roganusaram. So I have given few of the examples like what all the anupanams can be suited as per various diseases, as you see in the form of an indications there. So according to that, I enumerate or I advise my patients to go with the anupanam as roganusara. So this is how we try to plan up with the clinical administration of the Kantaloha Basma, and try to see that you procure it from a reliable source, because unfortunate to say, many times you find the Tikshna Loha, which is very commonly available in the market, the regular iron Basma. It's sold out in the market in the name of the Kantaloha Basma. So you should be very particular. So here you have a combination. In case if you go for a chemical analysis, you have a combination called as magnesium composition is seen here. Magnetite is a component there. So magnesium is being observed in the end product along with iron. So you have magnesium, manganese, iron, everything, but here the proportion of magnesium and manganese is marginally raised than the Tikshna Loha or the regular Loha. So this is how we try to manipulate or try to see or identify the clinical protocol. The another alternative what you have is a Namburi Sway spot test. It is available, the book is available from Chokamba. So you have a book called as a Namburi Sway spot test. Basic chemical tests are being given. So this particular combinations could definitely, it's a small chemical test. So by doing this test, you'll definitely identify like how it can be given in the patient suffering from the disease, whether the drug which you have selected is a rightful one or not. So according to that, you can definitely go for the administrations and try to give it in your patients. So thank you very much. And I again acknowledge the Shailaya Rasashala, Chinmay Pondekar and the whole team for making this particular presentation to happen. And thank you very much for the whole team. Any of the questions might be I can address, if at all.
Namaste, sir. I have one question. Hello.
Yeah.
Is I audible? Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Okay. So, your presentation gave a lot of knowledge regarding Kantaloha Bhasma, no doubt. I have a question. If Kantaloha Bhasma is used in a Garavisham, and if the termination of Garavisha is diabetes mellitus, when it comes to us, And we started with the obviously we didn't see the Granthokta all symptoms, but with the sugar patient comes to us with the sugar raised, then can we give Kantaloha Bhasma immediately, or initially we should give other treatment and then we could introduce Kantaloha Bhasma in that case?
One thing what you need to make a note in that particular patient is you need to take a detailed history of the patient.
Yeah.
Whether he was a person who recurrently used to have food from outside, was always fancy about the fast foods, the possibility of the Garavisha is high. So in those patients, the first choice of treatment is always the drugs like that of the Kantaloha, which will be very much beneficial for addressing the issue. And frankly to say, in many of such patients, the diabetes has been cured. Normally, the diabetes is considered as yapia, where you give only for lifetime you have to support with the medications. But here what happens, we have just given to the patient for some time and the patient is totally fine. And even his diabetic profile is come back to normal. See, the glycemic index, what you have in diabetes is the symptom or a clinical presentation. But the moola or the base of the disease is very much a specific. We need to address the pathogenesis there. So I strongly recommend the administration of the Kantaloha Bhasma in the very initial form of the Prameha, in case if you have a suspect of Garavisha, because the Garavisha Upadrava is Prameha.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Because not only junk food, but the pesticides and chemicals are entering in our body. Can we consider this also as a Garavisha?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% yes.
Yeah. Sir, yeah. When we want to give this Kantaloha Bhasma as a Rasayan, then how much period we could administer this in any of the patient?
In case if it is a Rasayanartha and you want Vayasthapana, give it for lifetime, not an issue. You need not restrict it only for 1 week, 10 days, and expect it as a Rasayana property for lifetime.
Okay. And as a Rasayan, how much dose we should, if such a long period we are going to give, then how much dose we should give to the patient?
Usually we recommend you to go with the 50% of the dosage or 25% of the dosage depending on the patient's expectation. Say for example, he's only 30 or 40 years, he expects to have a Rasayanartha, 25% of the dosage, like 125 milligram, just give him 35 milligram per day is sufficient. But whereas a person is somewhere around 60 plus of age, where he needs more of Rasayana, then you can ask him to take 125 milligram per day.
Okay, sir.
The classical dosage.
Okay. One more thing, sir. Now we all are treating COVID patients, and as you told that just we treated Rasavahastrotas and Pranavahastrotas, but yeah, we see most of the patient are dying due to cardiac arrest. Then when we could yet I didn't use Kantaloha in these cases. So when we could administer this Kantaloha? This is my question.
Yeah, what we do usually is a post-COVID, like the patient is discharged from the hospital or we have stopped administering a regular protocol of COVID treatment to the patient. We are prescribing them with this powder combination. We are giving them with, normally I'm giving my patients with post-COVID management is Hemagarbha Potali 4 grams, Mrugashanga Bhasma 6 grams, Makaradwaja 4 grams, Aparaka Bhasma 4 grams. I'm giving Lagusudha Mishrana 30 grams and Madhveshti Churna 30 grams, Kantaloha. And ask the patient to take half spoon twice daily or muhur dosage. And this medicine is being prescribed for 3 months, along with the Prabhakaravati for 1 BD for initial 15 days, 1 OD for 3 months. Because I have to somehow increase the stability of the heart, because the Moola Sthana of the Pranava and Rasava Shotas. I don't want my patient to land up into the complications of cardiac. So I'm asking the patient to take Prabhakaravati for 3 months and this powder combination to increase the Dhatu Sarata, address the situation. The patient immediately within a week's time, he comes with a very positive vibe, stating like, sir, I'm feeling so healthy by taking this. In case if they have a sort of a debility where the person is really not having that combination and is not happy, we give a anupanam to this. Along with this powder combination, we're asking the patient to take along with the drakshasava because as shramahara.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Thank you for the presentation today. I have a question that can you please repeat the Garavishahara combination?
Garavishahara, you have 3 drugs in your syllabus. One thing is Kantaloha, Swarna, and Tamra. So what we do is you take Kantaloha 125 milligram, 65 milligram of Tamra, 35 milligram of Swarna. Mix up all the 3 and it is given to the patient daily 1 dose, or in case the clinical presentation is drastic or very high, give it with a more dosage. Then the patient will be having the Garavishahara property.
Okay, sir, and the book you mentioned, the Chokhamba book, can you please tell us again?
Namburi's face spot test. He is basically a person from Andhra Pradesh called as a Hanumantrao Nambudiri. So it is the whole process of this innovation of the chemical treatments or identifications of the bhasmas, whether it is genuinely done or not, is done by that Namburi phased spot test. It is also approved by Ayush. It can be definitely be adopted for the standardization protocols.
Okay, thank you, sir. And last, the post-COVID treatment, it was little fast. The Hemagarbha Pottali Churna combination, can you please repeat it for us? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hemagarbha Pottali 4 grams per month. All these grams is per month, what I'm saying now. Hemagarbha Pottali is 4 grams. Makharadwaja is 4 grams. Abrakabhasma is 4 grams. In case if you can procure the Mrugashringa, then Mrugashringa Bhasma is 6 grams. Panna Pishti is 6 grams. Tapyadiloha is 8 grams. Kantaloha Bhasma is again 6 grams. To that you mix up around 30 grams of Laghusuta Mishrana and 30 grams of Madhyashti Churna. So mix up all these components and ask the patient to take pinch by pinch frequently throughout the day, 6 to 8 times a day, which could be a sort of a rasayana.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for this elaborative session. And on Kantaloha Bhasma. Any more questions related to topic? Sir, there are 2 or 3 questions are there in chat box.
Should I ask my question, sir? Yeah. Sir, does Kanta Bhasma Loha works by Kedar Kulya Nyay or Khalekaput Nyay? How does it works?
See, at various stages, the Dhatu Poshana happens at various levels. There are certain things where there is a total Parivartana, where you take Kshira Dadinaya. There are certain ways where specific element which is needed for the body is being selected. It's not like either of the Nyayas or Taratama Bhavas. All the 3 are excellently been enumerated by the Acharyas, and most of the times all the 3 is essential for the Dhatu genesis in an individual. So we need all the components to be seen, and according to that it starts to develop. There are many conditions wherein the amount of the Kantaloha which you are giving is totally been assimilated in an individual. As you can see in case of the myeloid leukemia cases, the total amount of the Bhasma, whatever you are giving, is most of the times has been converted to the systemic absorption. The amount of the quantity of Kantaloha coming out in the form of a fecal matter is very, very negligible, considering like possibly the maximum portion has been converted into the tissues or it has been absorbed. But sometimes it happens like the body doesn't need that amount of the medicines or the medicinal qualities there. So there what's happening is you have only the specific component, very small component of the Kantaloha has been absorbed, and the rest of the thing has been coming out in the form of fecal matter. So this is only on the selective absorption mechanism where you need it. There are certain conditions where you can find the Kantaloha acts, where you have seen the reference now as Sarvayadihara, where it acts at multiple levels. It acts at Rasavashrotas, Raktavashrotas, Shukravashrotas, everywhere. So this particular thing is needed to be given at various levels of understanding.
Okay, thank you, sir. One more question. Kantaloha is used in Gulma also. If we consider Charakacharya, I'm not considering
Yes.
Sushrutacharya. Charakacharya is telling that it is only the Vataj condition. And if in a Vataj condition this bhasma is used, then my question is that whether it is giving strength to the intestine, and so the Gulma condition is treated. Does such a thing is happening? Rasayana Karya.
In case if you have, yeah, see, Rasayana, no doubt it is Rasayana in nature. The second thing is the Sannipataja. Most of the time it would have the Gulma, by the time the patient comes to us, it's in a Sannipata state. So also it is very much beneficial in addressing the situations. The third phenomenon is, I have used a term in the Falashruti where we have gone for the destruction, total enumeration of, called as a Sthirikaram or Sthiratvam. Sthira guna, what you have in this particular thing, the very first word which is explained in Rasaratna Samuchaya, Sthira is the dhatu sthirata. In the cancer patients, what's happened? The Sthira guna is lost. They are having irrational growth of the cells. There is irrational growth of so many cells in the body, which is spoiling the basic texture of the normal genesis of a tissue, which is made sthira by administration of the Kantaloha. So this is definitely going to help. And the second phenomenon is, many times these gulmas which forms in the intestines or anywhere in the abdominal cavities because of the constant irritation because of the food which we have taken, which is acting as visha or garavisha. And this is one such a drug which acts on sthira and on visha and garavisha. So it is going to neutralize or detoxify the visha and the garavisha, which makes it to treat or address the conditions like that of the abdominal tumors. That's the reason why we have to go with the administration of the Kantaloha in these conditions.
Yeah, thank you, sir. But in case of the question is different from the Gulma, I could say, because initially I consider Gulma as defined by Charakacharya, but considering Sushrutacharya, in case of Gulma or any CA conditions of intestines, can we use Kantaloha Bhasma in initial stage also? Because most of the intestinal part is removed.
In case
so
if,
there is
no, if it is the initial form of a disease, why will you remove the intestines? In case if it's in the Bahudosha Avastha, only you remove the intestines.
Yeah.
You happen to say like the patient is being operated, so it's in the Bahudosha Avastha. Already it's in the chronicity of the illness. And if it's a chronicity of the illness, then Kantaloha is definitely indicated.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. No, but my question is that if there is a weakness in the intestine, it is removed. Yeah, it is Bahudosha Avastha. But can we introduce it in the initial stage when patient is under chemo and radiation also?
Yes, definitely. Because the patient is by the time he's been diagnosed and he started with the treatment, he's in a state of Sannipataja condition. The first, one more indication which has been explained in the Falashruti was where you have the Vata Kshinata or Shosha conditions. Both of them are seen in the Gulma patients. If you find Vata Kshaya condition there, you find a sort of a the Kshinata, Shosha condition. So in both these conditions, it should be indicated.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
If
Any more doubts?
Sir, I would like to ask, where can we procure Kantaloha Bhasma from? Is it like you mentioned before that it's not easy from the market, but still if we are seeking for it, where do we get it from?
See, one thing is what I do. I don't want to comment on any companies or pharmaceutical issues. But still what I do is I procure the Kantaloha from the geologist. I don't take it to the market. I take it from a geologist, and from them I convert it by myself into the Kantaloha Bhasma and I use it in my patients. This is very commonly what I do in my routine clinical practice.
Okay, sir.
Might be
Thanks.
there are some of the companies like that's the reason why I said, yeah, you can go for, we can definitely have some conditions like where you can go for it. But only thing is you have to see something like the preparation is very much appropriate. If it is appropriate, the Falashruti will imply. And in case if the method of preparation or the method of the raw drug procurement is wrong, then everything turns wrong.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hello,
Shall we
sir.
stop here? Yes.
One question. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes, sir. It was very good session.
Yeah.
Sir, I wanted to know, like, wherever Loha Bhasma is mentioned in our text, do you mean like everywhere we should, our first preference should be for Kanta Loha Bhasma?
No, it's not like that. It is being explained in the textbook as Uttarottara Gunottaram. So you have something like the Mundaloha, Tikshna and then Kantaloha. In case if you can use the Kantaloha, then it is considered to be the best variety. In case if you are unable to use the Kantaloha, the next alternative you have is the Tikshna. So normal thing is because magnetite or the lodestone is not that easily available in India, people are not accustomed in using the Kantaloha. People are very much accustomed using the Tikshna Loha. And even in the geological grounds, the people are saying anywhere you have the high concentrations of an iron in a rock above 68 to 72%, then it is considered as magnetite. So even there you have an exception by which people are selling out the Tikshna Loha Bhasma in the name of Kantaloha in the market.
Okay, so but for obesity, especially for Sharan, wherever we are expecting Sharan,
Yeah.
so there we should go for Tikshna, right? And wherever there is Apatarpanjanya Rogas, mostly where Balkar effect is expected, where there the Kantaloha should be preference.
Yeah, you are appropriate. One thing is with the help of Anupana, we can alter its function. As I said, in case of Staulya, you can go with Kantaloha Bhasma with Vanga Bhasma. So if you go with Kantaloha and Vanga, what happens? It does Staulya Hara, but because of the Rasayana property, there is no Dhatu Kshayada in an individual. The person will not go into the Kshinavastha. Because the prime focus always for an Ayurvedic practitioner is try to maintain the homeostasis with the dhatus. Never make it to get depleted because of over karshana. Many times it happens a person is into the prameha. I have seen in many of the patients, most of even my known Vaidyas or the students, they do this wrong way of treatment. I have a patient of prameha. They go on dumping him with lots of Ushna, Tikshna, Lekana, Pramehagna Dravyas, and the person will convert from Prameha to Madhumeha, and the reason is not because of his natural course, it is because of the iatrogenic. The doctor has created the person to land up from the Prameha to the Madhumeha state. Madhumeha is a Yapya Vyadhi or Asadhya Vyadhi. Whereas prameha is a treatable condition. Prameha is kapha pradhana, madhumeha is vata pradhana. Once you have a patient with prameha with some borderline diabetes or something like, they find they dump everything. There is a dhatu kshinata. Once you have the dhatu kshinata, the person is given with a strict diet, not to eat this, not to eat that, will land up into altered glycemic index. Then you are going to have that problem, this problem. Even he starts having lots of fasting and other issues. And by that, what happens? You are forcing him to have vata prakopa because of all these things. And vata prakopa converts this prameha into madhumeha. So these are the problems what actually happens. And don't excessively make the person to have over of rukshata. So even in a Staule patient, I do recommend Rasayana Chikitsa. And however, this Kantaloha is not going to increase their lipid profiles. It's not going to increase their adipose tissue. It's not going to cause any complications because of the obesity related. It is safe, but it is therapeutically giving a sort of brumhana. Therapeutic brumhana is being achieved, but not a physical or a physiological brumhana is not seen in the patient. So this is the beauty of Rasa Shastra. In case if you would like to go for some Brahmana Dravya in a Bhaishya preparation, I would like to give him some Kushmandavaleha or some like Chavanaprashavaleha or something like that. And patient will definitely have a Brahmana effect therapeutically and also physiologically. Start gaining weight in case if you start giving him more and more of Kushmandavaleha because of the Ghrutha as a component in that. It is not therapeutically wonderful and praiseworthy drug, but still you have that component as person might land up into increased weight because of the excess consumption of the avaleha kalpanas. Whereas that phenomenon will not happen with the basmas. So you have that rasayana property. It can be definitely given with the rasaushadhis, which will not impair or alter his glycemic index, not alter his lipid profile, not alter his adipose accumulation, anything like that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So one more question. Most of the time you use as an Anupan, does you use Asava or Arishna most of the time?
In my place, I belong to a very hot place in Karnataka. So I very seldom use avaristas in my practice, very less. I find most of the people, they are with the Krura Postas and they come complaining back to me like, sir, I have gastric irritation once I take your medicine. So I have very minimum utility of the asavaristas. Instead, I use some Kvata churnas, ask the patient to use in the form of a Kvata as anupanam or powders as anupanam, and I ask them to take it. So this is a very common thing. And second thing, I'm having my own lots of reservations in using the asavaristas because I prepare myself lots of these basmas and everything. I have 250 products of my own for my clinical purpose. I don't run up any industries. It's only for my clinical purpose. And even the herbal components like asavaristas, I used to prepare once upon a time, but now have considerably reduced just because of the reason taking asavaristas gives us sort of a minimum amount of utility in my set of patients. Second thing is for this Ushna Kala, it's many times not suiting me to prescribe the asavaristas. The third thing is I'm not ready to use the market products because many of the pharmaceutical companies I have seen where they're adding some fermenting agents, they're adding some starch, they're adding some preservatives, high concentrations in asavaristas, which I consider as Garavisha. So I don't want to give a iatrogenic complaints or the complications to my patient, and I don't use many of those things in my practice. If I prepare, might be I would have been a bit flexible in using it. If I take it from outside, I have my own doubts whether can I use, whether did the company use some preservatives in it or anything like that. It's not like I don't use asavaristas, but very minimum. To a very lesser extent where I find absolutely it is essential, then I use it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So any other doubts? Anything else to discuss?
So usually we have a lot of questions while preparing any preparation. So would you like to answer if we just ask you on WhatsApp?
Yeah, definitely. For the preparations and all, I'm always open. I support so many people where they help in, they want some aid in preparing any of the basmas. If it is towards the Rasaushadis, it will be more easy for me because
Yes.
I do use Bhaishajya preparations, but comparatively less. Because almost 80-90% of my practice is with the Rasaushadis.
Yes, sir, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Is there any absolute contraindication for the use of Kanta Loha Bhasma?
No, I haven't seen anywhere with any of the contraindications for not to use Kanta Loha Bhasma in any of the patients. We have just as per the classical references, we're just administering it to the patient.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, in a metabolic syndrome of, let's say, diabetes with hypertension with hypothyroid, would Kanta Loha Bhasma be a good addition to Abhrak and Swarnamakshik?
Yes, definitely yes. Because Sarva Vyadhiha
Okay, sir.
can be given.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. I think all doubts are clear with chat box also. Shall we stop here now?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So thank you
Thank you very
very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.